Hello, my name is Seema Sharma and I'm wife of Vijay Sharma. And today is the first meet for Indo Dutch Entrepreneurs Association in Holland. We have a lot of things that we want to do in this association, but the focus is to inspire people in unity and how to grow in unity. The Asian, the Indian, the Sarnami descent can work together as a team and grow together and make a mark for a bigger picture. Well, there are lots of business people here, but we haven't restricted them to any particular field. There are attorneys, there are people from the IT, there are people who have hotels, restaurants, are also in the jobs, people who are accountants. We are looking forward to some of the people who are going to be in the medical line. So it's going to be a comprehensive group. Our expectation is that people will stay together, grow together, and form a better community that can have a stance, and we can represent ourselves in a higher place where we have a say, we are someone. We can be heard, we can help make the laws, and we can help in policies that will benefit us. But in particular, I think people who are in the business line right now would be directly affected by this, because that's the idea, to grow and to work with each other, from each other, and give business to each other. That's how we all will succeed in the long run. The highlights are we have some very good, very eminent speakers with us tonight. We will have Mr. Wim Belt, and I don't think he needs an introduction, and he is the owner of several billionaire companies, and he is an entrepreneur. He's starting the ecosystem work with a lot of countries. And then we also have Mr. Roland, Mustert, and he is also an entrepreneur. And he is also involved in a lot of structures like this. And he also is working with something similar. He was the owner of the Intelligent Millionaire Club. So we have them. And we also have someone from our own descent, that is Mr. Vipin Moharir. He is the CEO and the founder of the Gateway Group of Technologies. So we're looking forward to hearing from all of them. Good evening, everyone. This is a very special event for us. Why? Because each of you is here, has contributed your time and your patience to be here with us. I welcome each and every one of you. Thank you for being here. Thanks. I would imagine, does anyone know why you are here? What is IDEAH? IDEAH is to have and inspire each one of us to do something together. Now, what do we do together? Together is power. Together we get up, we grow together as a community. And that's the most important thing of all. Not be segregated, not be differentiated as to we are Surinamis, we are Afghanis, we are Indians, we are none of that. What matters is we are from the same descent, and we are in this land to be together and to make a difference. Now let's make a difference. What happens is we have a business, we need help, where do we go? IDEAH is a concept. IDEAH is for each one of us to say, I need help, let's get in touch with IDEAH. Because IDEAH has members, IDEAH has talent, IDEAH has people who will help me, who will look out for me, for my betterment, who will help me grow. That's the point of getting everyone together. Because together, we are stronger. There are three things, according to me, that can make a difference. One is money and knowledge. Now, when you bring money and knowledge with unity, man, you can make a difference. And we all know that. So let's get our powers together. And how do we do that? We have people here from different aspects of profession. Let's promote each other. Let's start off with finding out what we can do together. So that's the concept we build on. Slowly and steadily, we build on everything. Today, when you guys get together, the point is you have the money, you have the brains, you have the unity, you start off something that rises. And that rises so high that everyone looks at you and say, you know what, these people exist. These people make a difference. So let's do that. Each one of you is resourceful. You have people you know, and you know. Let's bring them together. As a society, we are known to be segregated. We are definitely known that, you know what, Indians don't help. Let's cut that out. We are in a place where we want to be. Our kids have grown. Our families are here. We want to be here. We want to make a difference. We have the ability to grow much, much higher. For Netherlands to know we exist. Think about it. There are other communities. Communities like Chinese, like Jews, other communities who help each other. We want to be able to do that. How do you do that? You trust. You put your trust in a group of people who will look out for you. How? You share your contacts, you share your knowledge, you share your expertise. That's how you do it. So learn to trust, learn to build together, learn to inspire, to grow together in unity. So each one of you that is here has to believe in yourself, has to believe that you can do it, has to believe we can contribute to it, grow together in unity, help each other grow. Today, we are very, very fortunate. For our first event, we have very good and eminent speakers. Now, how do you get to grow? You get to grow is when you get knowledge. How do you get knowledge? When you meet knowledgeable people. When you meet people who have experienced certain things in life. You meet people who have experienced success because of failures. Every successful person has gone through failures to succeed. I want to introduce Mr. Ronald Mustert with us. And I would like to call on stage with a round of applause, please, Mr. Ronald Mustert.
Well, thank you. It's a real pleasure to be here. I feel very welcome, and it's the first time to be part of this Indian-based community. And the way you speak English is always so much energy, positive energy. It's like you're singing a song, and I really like that. I started off my career as an engineer. I've been in the industry for about 30 years. I've designed systems, big systems for oil and gas industry. And over time I've become an entrepreneur. And I have 4 businesses and a foundation. And I'm also the founder of a business club here in Amsterdam called the Intelligent Millionaires Network. I see a lot of relationship here. Because you see, what you're doing here is a very good initiative. In our club it's much the same. Essence is that as long as you're working together, you're joining forces, you can actually grow. Because like in the 70s and in the 80s, also in the 90s, people were like, ooh, there's competition out there. I need to protect myself. But that's scarcity thinking. If you think scarcity, you're actually not living up your full potential. But if you think abundance, because it's enough for everyone. If you see someone's in the same area, but you start sharing ideas, there's a lot of markets. So you can easily combine your forces. And together, you can grow. Now, in my business club, I see it happening. What we do is we have people like just starting up, but also people that are very experienced. And they sort of team up like business buddies. So what happens then is they can actually together plot a path of progress and hold each other accountable. So if you say, I want to go from A to B, you need to take several steps. If you don't take the steps, what happens? Nothing, right? So if you have an accountability partner that you call every week or so and say, hey, what have you done this week? And then all of a sudden you feel this sort of pressure that you have to implement those steps, otherwise you cannot grow. So there's accountability. But also see in business clubs, and what you should try to implement here as well, you see people doing business together. And that's great, because all of a sudden you're combining networks. And all of a sudden you see someone with a certain capacity which sort of aligned side by side with your own. So together you can do much more. One of my companies is on the banner over there. It's called Global Movies. And I'll tell you a few things about it and just share my knowledge and ideas. WIFM. I used to be a DJ on a radio station. I want to tell you about investing. It can be fun. I want to tell you about how to get access to a very closed niche. I'm talking about the investment niche. Also, I'd like to show you briefly a proven investment strategy. I started off many years ago because you're making money and you start reading things and it's like, wait a second, I can still keep working and sell my hours for time and get some money, but it's not really the way to grow. What to do with your money? Put it in a bank? Don't think so. So I started looking for alternatives. I tried some stock markets things, like stocks and shares and bonds and the whole thing, but I really didn't like the risk-reward ratio. And I started off in real estate in the UK, quickly to find out that in order to be successful, you need to have a network on the ground. If you don't know the people there, they'll never give you the right deals. A lot of people, a lot of investors that are looking for good ways to invest. And ideally with a good profit and a low risk. And unfortunately, there's also a lot of scam out there. I mean, you probably heard of Palm Invest, some Dutch initiative some 20 years ago. They're a complete fraud. And just a lot of innocent people, they just think, well, it looks good, looks nice, let's invest in that, and they lose their money. It's not fair. Like I said, together we're stronger. Also, my foundation, it's called Pia Fidelis. That's Latin. It means loyal and committed. It's about sharing, it's about helping others. And that's how I did this, my foundation. And in the foundation, I want to help others as well. So sharing my knowledge, helping others, whether it's primary needs or just on this kind of level in business-wise and investing. This way we can create a win-win situation. If there's a demand, if there's supply, you can bring them together and together do business, everyone profits. Now, where are you? We also know this quadrant, right? Let me ask, by show of hands, who's entrepreneurs? Where's the business? Right. Who is an investor? Very good. Now, who is self-employed? And who has a job as an employee? Cool. We're nicely divided like this. Now, what I want to share, why you need to invest now? Because time is on the essence. Time is essential because time is a commodity which is very precious. It's only there once. It flips by, it whizzes by, it's gone before you know it, and you can't get it back. So you have to be wise with your time. So by selling your hours, it's a way of making money, but you need to create a different way of leverage. And also the markets are very dynamic. Everything is going so fast nowadays. I mean, only 20 years ago, we didn't have these. And now we do. Everyone has one. Even in inlands in India, they have mobile phones. So technology is rapidly progressing. And you need to keep up. So in the investment side, financial world, the same thing happens. There is a continuous progress. There's developing new possibilities, new ways to do things. We say keep it simple. Investing should be simple. Because you see, investing is usually a numbers game. That's ordinary thing. But I mean, come on, it's a bit dull, a bit dry, and not much exciting, not much excitement. But if you can make it more fun, so that's why we say, keep it simple, make it effortless, make it scalable, and make it fun. Now, if you want to know more about the details, come and see me, and we can just make an appointment. I'll show you all the ins and the outs.
Goedenavond, dames en heren. Er zijn heel veel mensen in de zaal die geloven dat dit ondernemersvereniging een succes zal worden. Door jullie steun zijn we binnen een maand meer dan 100 leden. Onze doelstelling is om ondernemers van Nederlandse, Hindoestaanse en Aziatische achtergronden meer te laten samenwerken, kennis en ervaring uit te delen en uiteindelijk met elkaar zaken te doen met bijdrage tot het groei van hun bedrijf. Met een team bereik je meer. Als je meerdere collega's hebt die ook bij hetzelfde grossier afnemen, kunnen we hoogwaarschijnlijk daar eventuele financiële voordelen uithalen. Dat is onze motto. Samen zijn we sterk. Ten slotte wil ik Vijay Sharma feliciteren met het podium wat je gecreëerd hebt. Het is jouw initiatief en het is een zekere succes. Binnen een maand 100 leden. Van alles, hotelwereld, horeca, textielbranche, noem ze maar op, IT's. Laten we een succes maken van zijn initiatief. Bedankt. Ik wil de heer Vipin Moharir welkomen voor op de stage.
All right, thank you very much. What was told to me actually was to just share my experiences as an entrepreneur. So I'm going to give you a very plain vanilla kind of a model, and if you have any questions, just raise your hand. It's a very interactive kind of a thing, so there's no rule for the next 10-15 minutes. All right? Being an entrepreneur, and I saw many of you are entrepreneurs, and the ones who are certainly, let's say serial entrepreneurs, they'll totally understand what I'm saying, is that there is a lot of destiny, there is a lot of luck, and there is a huge amount of hard work which goes actually with entrepreneurship. I have not believed that one can basically invest into any product and become a multimillionaire overnight. So that's not the generation, or that's not the mindset that I come from. So first of all, to make it clear, I believe that there is no substitute for hard work. I did my studies in Mustert, finished my master's, and started working for an American company. So I went to the US, worked in the UK, but I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. And don't ask me why. So a lot of people say, well, you had a good job, you were selling hours, and I kid you not, I have a lot of friends who sell their hours and they are also millionaires. Yeah? So they're lawyers and they're doctors and their hours are worth 500, 700, 1,000, 2,000 euros an hour as well. They can be millionaires too. But there is a feeling that an entrepreneur has that you want to create something on your own. So you want to stand there. I used to do a lot of consulting, and finally I got tired of advising people. I said, yeah, I'm advising people so many things, but I have no clue whether my advice really leads to the result that I'm advising, yes or not. So I just said, nothing doing. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. So I came back to Holland and I said, let's start somewhere. That's how I started. So I'll skip, I have 10 minutes. So I'm just skipping and hopping. And if you have any questions, just stop me. So then I decided, I was married by then. I always had a sweetheart in India when I came here to Holland. So I went back, I picked her up, came back, to Holland. And she started working with me as well. And so finally one day I said, I want to start something. But like most of you saw that the real power behind Vijay was the first person who was on the podium here. So that's Seema. So similarly, I have one powerhouse, fortunately at home as well. And she said, don't worry, you start working on your plan and I'll continue my job. Okay? So I'll tell you two incidences, and I'm sure I relate to something that Seema said in the beginning. Together we stand, and there is unity. And one thing which she's absolutely correct, and I always stand by, and that's probably the only reason that I accepted being here, is because I always felt and I feel that the community from Asia does not organize itself, and I'm leaving the Chinese out, does not organize itself for success. And this was the first time that I felt that somebody is doing some efforts. So I honestly said, the first thing you called me up and Vinod said, I said, I'll be there and I'll share some experiences. So I'm very, very happy that, you're organizing this. Once again, my compliments to you. Because there are so many such experiences where you lack that support. So you can imagine I was sitting at home and the money that you decide, at that time the market was good, so you have overwaarde, hypotheek and blah, 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 and then you take some money from the overwaarde and then you put it into your business, and that's how, my IT industry, my IT company was initiated. So this is 2001, mind you. So sitting on Saturday with my wife, she's called Payal, and then I said, Payal, money is running out. I said, are you sure that I want to still continue searching and doing some stuff? And she says, no, please go on. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. So this is not one Saturday. I can tell you it is like 8 months in 2002 that every Saturday I used to figure out. And one day I said, now it's enough because I can see the tension. You know, you are used to certain things. When you really sell your hours as a consultant, you're really used to the good life. Trust me. My first car was a BMW. I was flying business class from the day one for an American company. So you're used to that good thing. And then suddenly you land up with I had a Renault Scenic as my first car, which was like, I don't know, 15 years old maybe. And I was driving in a blue car and I was wondering, what am I doing, right, as an entrepreneur? But those are the failures that you go through. And then I said, probably I should start applying for a job, okay? So there were 2 calls that I got that day. The first call was from my wife's family. And she said, no, listen, you don't need to do this. Go ahead, we'll give you full support, etc., etc. And a very touching call. And the second call was from my father. And he said, listen, if you want, I can shift from my current apartment where you were staying in Pune to an ashram, which is an old people's home. And tell me, he was hardly, whatever, 60, not even 60, he was 55 or something at that time. He said, I'll shift to an old person's home, we'll sell this, but it'll give you, let's say, the support that you need to go on for another 6 months. The third call was actually the turning point. So the third call was a very, very good, let's say, colleague of mine with whom I started business. He's in India. And I still remember the call, and that is the reason that I still actually continued. He said, hey, listen, you know what? Consider that there is a hand behind your back which will not let you fall. You know, so just imagine that you're falling, but there's a hand behind you. It will not let you fall. So he said, for the next 6 months, whatever you sell, there will be 0 procurement price. For all services you sell, you accumulate money, and there's no procurement price. Okay? So just imagine now an entrepreneur in a situation like that. So there's no procurement price for you. And then you are selling, money is accumulating, then you get the guts to hire somebody else, then you pick up your sales team, and then the ball starts rolling, and then your guts as an entrepreneur that you actually always had comes to its true life. So I want to give you a totally different picture. And I do believe that there are some people say that there is something called as arrogance of affluence. You know, a lot of stuff. Somebody says, hey, this is $1 million, go out and do your stuff, right? And there is something completely different, which is management or entrepreneurship by scarcity, right? Because the first thing that my dad said to me is, do your entrepreneurship, think what you want. But I come from a family of professors and doctors and scientists, and those of you who have done research, on me, you will see that President Abdul Kalam's book, if you read it, then you'll see Dr. A.V. Moharir is the one who's actually written, let's say, a note on it. So on the first or the second page, that's my uncle, my real uncle. My other uncle is also Dr. V. Moharir, who was a professor here in the Netherlands in the Institute of Social Studies. So I don't come from a family of businesses. I come from a family of scholars. So their first principle was, do not bring debt at home. Okay? Now, don't ask me today, because today I'm doing some crazy things. I said, listen, if I'm not going to be taking a debt home, then I have to follow management by scarcity. Okay? So whoever wants to be an entrepreneur, I can really tell you, first of all, define the minimum means in which you can actually get your first milestone. If you can achieve that, then I think the rest of it will follow like a domino effect. Anyway, 15 years ahead, it's a movie, Mr. Mustert, so the 70mm is going on. I started somewhere, and now I'm actually somewhere in the middle. So 10 years ahead, it's an IT industry, and we see a lot of ups and downs. So we saw 2002, 2007, 2011, 12. So we've been seeing right from Lehman Brothers to all of it. And then one day my dad said, well, we believed that there is in India something called as roti, kapda, and makan. Okay? So he says, what is this software? Of course, mind you, he is a very, very learned fellow, and he is the first time that I actually started using a laptop, and he says, well, what is it that you do? And then he, enrolled in Excel classes and PowerPoint. So he is very, very proficient in technology. Travels quite a bit from India to the Netherlands. Doesn't want to stay in the Netherlands because he gets bored. Okay, and so he said, roti, kapda, and makan. He says, what is this software? I can't feel it. I can't touch it. Yeah? And he says, what is it that you produce, basically? He says, you do something which lets you feel a product. So if you have a restaurant, you are producing food, and if you are trading, then you see all these bags of rice and wheat or whatever. So I said, well, let's try and see if we can shift into what I now call as a serial entrepreneurship. So 5 years back, I started, along with other business partners of mine, the same business partners, we started another concept, which is in smart farming. So once again, take the best of this country, because Holland is, in horticulture and all those technologies really, really good. So take the best of that, and we set up farms in India for pomegranate farming. Okay, so I was in IT. I set up pomegranate, let's say, farming. So today, I think with a little bit of luck, in 2019, we should be the largest exporter of products based on pomegranate. This is about, yeah, so you're talking about pomegranate oil, you're talking about aerials, you're talking about, lots of stuff. But again, I go back to management by scarcity, because when we put up the business model, we did not say that you have this million and then you go out and do it. We basically created the team, and we said you only have 100 rupees. So go and first learn what is it to plant, let's say a plant. How many plants can you buy? How many plants will die in the first 6 months? What is, the temperature that you can actually see in, this is in Rajasthan, which is close to Mount Abu. So how do actually plants live? What is the process of, almost killing the plant and then giving it so much water that it starts flowering? Well, it's basically a scientific process. So the thing is that any entrepreneurship, unless and until you know the pains and the gains of that particular, let's say, business, you will never be able to manage that business. At least that's what I believe in. So it may or may not be a very, very modernistic way of looking. So that's the second chapter. After that, I, kind of delved a little bit and also went into the food industry. And the next stage is that I'm looking at something very exciting. I've put up a fund in the Netherlands, and I'm raising capital to actually acquire European companies and then reverse list them on the Bombay Stock Exchange. So 2 years back, I listed one of my companies in India on the BSE, on the small exchange. Yeah? So that's again a lesson for the young entrepreneurs out here. If you really have value, then the place that will really appreciate that value today is the Asian exchanges. Because the multiples, the PE multiples may be much higher than the returns that you see anywhere else. The IT companies today in India have a multiple of 24, average, 18 to 24. Then you have other industrial companies, manufacturing companies, because those economies are booming, you see. So the value of your, let's say, investment, people are able to understand. So do think of those aspects as well. How can you list your company on Bombay Stock Exchange? I mean, it's not really that difficult. It is really, a process of disclosure, I can tell you that, because the exchange in India really wants to know everything about you. And they may even want to, know what kind of brand of innerwear do you wear. Yeah, so that it goes really far. But once you have done it, yeah, then you are there, and then it creates an enormous amount of vehicles. So today, when we acquire companies, then we have an option that we can actually do an immediate, let's say, acquisition and a listing and a reverse listing or anything basically on the Bombay Stock Exchange. So those are some vehicles that we created. So that's the current phase, let's say, of my life. So once again, in a nutshell, came from India, did my education, studied here, worked in the US, UK, and went through certain hiccups in life. Thankfully, I had a lot of friends like you here who gave the support, who allowed me to be an entrepreneur. And you see the journey, became a serial entrepreneur. So it's not just IT. Decided to focus on roti, kapda, and makan, something producing. We produce lovely pomegranates. And now I'm looking at the next stage in the entrepreneurship to try and see. One of my mottos is that before 2021, so about 4 to 5 years from now, 21, 22, I'd like to create at least 100 millionaires in my company in India in euros.
Wow.
So that is something that is a dream of mine, and it's shared by my business partners as well. So our boardroom strategy is share the same dream. If you share the same dream, then everybody kind of starts focusing on it, and then you start working hard. And mind you, it's not for money, because money is a kicker till the time that you have filled your home, you're driving the best cars, and you're living in a good house and all that. But after that, really, the entrepreneurs who are working, let's say 20 hours a day after that, are working for that kick, are working actually for that achievement to fulfill that dream. So I'm one of those traditional, let's say, entrepreneurs. To finish, there are two types of entrepreneurs. One of them are called daredevils. Okay, so the daredevils are like, wow, just get into the plane and they'll go somewhere, and then they will, you know, just set up a tent somewhere and then start figuring out and whatever. And the second ones are not daredevils, but they are scared devils. Okay? So probably I'm one of the scared devils ones who operate in a very good environment, good education, good background, figure out what you want to do, make good business plans, organize the funding, and then have lots of friends around to make it successful.
Most of us are.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vipin Moharir, for sharing your experience. I now welcome Mr. Wim Belt to the stage. Please give us a standing ovation, please.
Okay, thank you for being here. I really feel very honored, to be honest. So that's really great, because I always like to share my experience. Why? Because I come from a completely background from where I'm now. And it's more the story behind what makes it interesting. Because I understand there are some junior entrepreneurs here, just starting, yes, and some are already working very long, so that's a good thing. But I warn you up front, yeah? I will tell you something you don't like. Yeah, that's good, to make your mind open, because that is actually what I want to do tonight. I want to make your mind open. And then I have to tell something about my background, but I will do that in a minute. I think it's good to tell something about myself. We just launched our first book. It took me a lot of time to write it, to be honest. And I'm going to tell you something about this book as well, about the content of this book, because there's a little bit of my life. But let's start with the beginning. I grew up in Holland, in Zwolle. Do other people who know Zwolle? Oh, everyone? That's good. Sorry?
It's a famous city of Roland.
Yes, it is. Yeah, you learn first something like Paris, London, Zwolle. Yeah, exactly. Okay, and you have to know my parents, they were just employees. My father worked in a factory, and actually I grew up with an aunt because my parents divorced, and yeah, a long story, I don't want to bother you with that. And then I came an aunt who took care of me, and there was a lesson they taught me. They said, you really have to study hard. Because when you study hard, you get a good job. Yeah, do you know this? Okay. And actually at that time they said, and you should get a job for the government, because when you are in the government, they can never lay you off. Amazing. So I did what they told me. I started studying. Actually, I studied business administration and quantum physics. I'm a quantum physics from my background. And actually, I got a good job, to be honest. I went in the world of the ICT. I became a manager and a director after that for big companies. But to be honest, it's not that I hated my job, but there was something else I really didn't like. And that was someone else was my boss. And that person could say how much money I was worthy, what I could do, when I was good or not good, you know. And there was a limit in my salary, you know, because, you know, after a while they say, you didn't do that well, so we put down your salary. That's how it went. And actually that bothered me all the time, because one of my first values is freedom. I want to be free. That's really very important. And so it was 2001. And everyone can remember it, that the plane flew in the WCT in New York. So my company at the time was an American company, and actually they did it quite well, but they were on the New York stock markets. So what happened after the planes flew in yeah, exactly. Some people do like this. That's right. All the stocks went down. And then they have to lay off a lot of people. And I was one of them. So I had to come there to a lady. And he said, Wim, that's my name. You already know. Wim, we don't know how we can work without you. But we will try tomorrow. Which means I could go. And you can understand exactly what happened. Because I really had a very good salary in that time, because in that time when you worked for a US company, you got a lot of money when you compared it with a Dutch salary. Yeah, actually from one day on the other, my salary dropped tremendously, somewhere 50, maybe 40%. What I left in my hand. And I didn't have my lease car anymore, you know. So that was terrible as well. So you understand, I was a little bit worried. Because I thought, oh my goodness, how can I pay my mortgage next month? But now, when I'm here now, I can tell you this was the best time in my life. And I'll tell you why. Because that was actually the moment I turned around. Because when you come out of, because I used to work 19 hours a week, so I actually had a good salary, but now I think I had 2 jobs, isn't it? 90 hours per week is really a lot of time. So I thought by myself, okay, I should do it in another way, because what will happen when you go out of your job, of your work, you will get out of the, and I will tell you something more about that later on, about the rat race. Because our strength is our weakness. When we work, we are so conditioned, we don't know actually what's going on in the world. We think that our world is the world, and that's not true. That's what I actually found out. So when I came out of that rat race, and I was first time a little bit worrying about how I could pay the mortgage the next month, then I looked around and I said, I went to university, I did 2 studies, but I know a lot of people who never look in the book, who didn't study, and they are multimillionaires. So what I'm doing wrong? Because they taught me you have to learn very hard, because then you will be successful in life. But these people were much more successful. So that was the first belief I had, which I said, oh, this can't be true. They told me a story which is not true. But I believed it. And that is why I got this job, and I worked very hard for it, and I was even proud about it, you know? And that's actually not what you should do. So I made a decision in that time. I said, listen, money shouldn't be an issue more in my life. I want to be financially free, because I think as long as you have to work for money, you have a double agenda, because you can never be really free. And then it started. I want to earn money in a different way, in a passive way. I don't know whether you know the word passive income. Huh? That's actually a way you can do it. Actually, like investments, what Roland already said. So money is working for you. You are not working for money. Money is working for you. I thought that's much more clever than only working and changing hours for money, which is actually the most stupid business model in the world. Because you are the strongest as well as the weakest link in this model. So when you get ill, then your business is gone. You know how it works? And that's not really clever, because there's so many other ways to do it. But the only point was, when I started, nothing worked. So that was not really something to be proud of about, because I thought, tell me what I have to do, I will do it, and that's okay. I had a good study, and I had a very big ego in that time. And in Dutch I say ego means even geen omzet. Really, believe me. People with a big ego, they don't make money at all. But I had this big ego, so sometimes I won some money, and then on the other side I lost it again, you know. So at the end of the day, I was actually at the same level where I started. And then there came a moment, then someone brought me in the world of personal development. And actually I studied quantum physics, but I never made that connection. So, and in that world I learned that actually the world outside of you is just a mirror of yourself. No more and less. So you see exactly what you believe. And that changed something in my mind. To be honest, I didn't believe it at all in the beginning. I thought, yeah, it's too good to be true, and you can create your own world and things like that. It's just for people who don't want to work and they want to become rich in one day, you know? So tell me, I create my world and nothing will happen. But on the other hand, I said, okay, what can I lose? Because I can stay in my ego and say it's not true because I think it's not true, but maybe I should just try it. And that was the moment I looked at my life like it was an experiment. I said, let's just do what I have to do and see what happens. And so I started, and to be honest, in 14 months I was a millionaire. It was quite fast. You can become fast a millionaire. You can even become a millionaire one day when you want it, nowadays. And now I'm even a billionaire. So how did I do it? Thank you. But it's not about the money, to be honest. It's because we live in a world of cause and effect, and the money is the effect. So when you don't earn money, don't look to that side, look to the cause. And that has to do with your mindset. That's actually where everything starts. Because I say, okay, when you see your life as an experiment, then actually I can do everything what I want. And one of the things what I'm quite lazy, to be honest. I know you work very hard, you said it, but I don't like to work hard. And I don't work hard at all. Because in the old time I had to believe I have to work hard for my money. And I had to work hard. But now I believe the less I work, the more money I will earn. And even that is true. Because I don't work hard, I work clever. That's actually what you should do. And actually, this book is going about that, working clever on your business. Because what I already said, you are the strongest link as well the weakest links. So you have to get yourself out of the business, more or less. Say it like that. Obviously, it didn't start like that. I just started with little investments, and I did some internet business. I have still a lot of internet businesses. And I started with an academy, which is with my... maybe you should stay, because then people can see you. She looks like an elf. I have to see whether there are still sheets, because I forgot them. I told you already. This one means that we all have blind spots, you know. We look to the world how we want to see it. And when you think it's a hard world, it's a hard world. When you think you have to work hard, you have to work hard. When you think you have to work smart, you have to work smart. Yeah? When you think there are no customers, you won't find customers. It's that easy, actually. Yeah. So, other entrepreneurs here who think you can't learn entrepreneurship. It's just given to you because your parents or whatever, but you can't learn it. No one? Okay, then I'm in the good environment. Because that is true, you can learn it. It's something you have to learn it day by day. You have to study on yourself. That's what I believe. And not only how do I do marketing or how I do selling or making an extraordinary product. No, you have to work on yourself. Because things are changing very fast nowadays. And what I already said, in our head we are really very conditioned. We think actually like people of 400 years ago. Oh, that's not nice to hear. Because a lot of things change, but that is true. And that is actually this picture, because I said I studied physics, so let's go to that part. We come from an environment where we think what I call Newtonian thinking. What does that mean? You know, all of you who went to school know Newton, do you? He was sitting there under the tree and the apple came down. And he thought, oh, how is this possible? What is happening here? And from that point, he said, okay, everything is mechanical, more or less. I'm, you are you, the table is the table. It's all separated from each other. That's actually what the way he approached things. We think there are people, there are things outside of us which determine how the world looks like. And based on that, we built our whole thought system, the way we think, because we have free will in our thinking, but I'm quite sure none of you know what he's thinking in 1 second after this. It's just coming. Where's it coming from? Yeah, how you grew up and things like that, as well as science. And the science said, listen, everything is mechanical. You can see it in when you look to healthcare. When you have something on your heart, they open it, they correct your heart, and that's it. But when you really know how your body works, you know it is a holistic machine. Everything is connected with each other. At the same time, every cell in your body knows what is happening. Your body is really an amazing machine when you think about it. But usually, because we don't think, we think, oh, it's a stupid thing and it's just working. But it's not like that. When there's a virus coming in, at the same time, every cell in your body knows what to do. And there's not a little plate on it, I'm this virus, you know? So your body knows it. And, but because of this Newtonian thinking, it really limits us. It's not that it is not true. Obviously it is true, but it's true from a point of view. What we saw that the reality is completely different than what we think. And I don't go too much in depth about it because there's still some discussions about it. But one thing we know for sure, more or less, that there is nothing outside of you when there's not an observer. And the question is, who is the observer? That's you. So what do you observe? And how do you look to the world? Now, and this was funny because I thought, okay, when this is true, then I should do some experiments with me. Then more or less I can accomplish everything I want. And I tell you, because it's not that I earn billions, but it's the way I do it. And I won't tell you all the secrets, because maybe you will do tomorrow as well. No, it's not that bad. I believe in abundance. Okay, when this is my world, which I create by myself, that means all the money in the world is mine as well. The only point is not in my pocket. So I have to do something about that. That doesn't mean I need all the money, because when you don't know what to do with the money, you shouldn't earn it. It gives you responsibility as well. And then I found out that there are so many ways to get money. It's actually quite easy to do. But because I had a belief in my mind that, earning money is very difficult. So it was difficult for me until the moment I changed it and say, okay, and it's not something you do in one day, by the way. It's not, at least not in that time. Now I know that you can do it very fast. But at least when you look from that perspective, your world will change completely. And now, because why do I earn my money with? I do a lot of big investments, really big investments. For instance, I have a piece of land in Nigeria now of 42,000 hectares. And what we are doing there is we're building a water factory. We do a lot about energies, of obviously clean energy, so solar, of maybe even another one. And we do advanced agriculture. Now, so I'm busy in Ecuador, I'm busy in Chile, and actually we're going to India as well now, because they're building new cities, and there's so much to do. Yeah, actually it is. But the only point is, the way I work is that I need some locals who really know the government, who are on a high level, and they can be the CEO there, and because otherwise it's so difficult to work in another country, because you have always this culture difference, you know, particularly when you go in Nigeria, you really have to take care, otherwise you won't see one penny back. But there are usually the challenges, and there are the places you have to be, because I work with a co-investor now, and he said, when you invest in Nigeria, every euro will become 100 or 1,000 euros, and that's true. But you know there are a lot of scammers as well, so you have to take care of that. Do some risk management. Actually, that's what you have to do. But the point is, because I like this, because I have some children, I have 3 sons, and I thought I should, when I leave this world, the world should be better than when I came. And that is actually your message, what I heard from you. As an entrepreneur, and I really believe that deep in my heart, we are the only people who can change the world. Sometimes Rutte, you know Rutte, says, we did it. They don't do it at all, believe me. Believe me. Without them, we should be even better off. No, because why? Because to be an entrepreneur, you have to think differently. That's where it starts. And when you look to, I call it quantum thinking, you can call it evolution thinking, but when you really look to the business leaders, then you will see that they say we have to change our thinking. Actually, Einstein already said it. He said, we can't solve problems with the same way we made them. We have to change our thinking in that. And usually when you have a job, because I was one of them, we want to be every day the same. Isn't it? Because that gives something like security. Oh, tomorrow's the same as today. Give it another word, it's called boredom. In 10 years, you still know what you are doing. And you know your salary, which is lower usually than when you started. So, and on the other hand, when you are really an entrepreneur, you see the problems in the world, because that is actually what you are doing. You are solving problems. So I never understand why when we are in a crisis, that there are entrepreneurs who don't earn money, because there are so many problems during a crisis. So that is the way of thinking, and we see that there are big challenges nowadays. Things go very fast when we look to technique. Our economy, which is globally, it's going up and down all the time, so we have to come up with new solutions. And we can only come up with new solutions when we think in another way, when we start another way of thinking. I call it quantum thinking, because it gives you really a complete other paradigm about thinking, because you know I'm responsible. In the other way, when you are Newtonian thinking, you think, I'm more or less a victim of my environment. And only the strong people get out of it, and they do it for themselves. But most people feel like a victim. And when you think that is that is where you're living in, you will see that day by day. Yeah? But when you think, no, I create my world, then you can take 100% responsibility. And then you have to deal with people who really want to take a challenge, who really want to take risk, because it's never about risk. It's about risk management. That's what we're talking about. So when you can manage the risk and when you know what to do, then, and when you want to fail from time to time, you have to do that as well. But failing is not actually, it's a concept in your head, isn't it? Yeah? Because actually, you learn, and when you learn, you will become better, and you will find the way. I really did, because when you want to start hard, you have to start in Nigeria, believe me. Every day I think by myself, why did I do it? It's so difficult from time to time, but every time when there is a difficulty on my path, I grow as a person. So when there's coming another problem, I'm even a bigger person. So this problem is not a problem for me anymore. And that's the only reason why we have to vision problems in our life, to grow. Because when we don't see them, or when they are not there, we won't grow as a human being. And that should really be a pity. So actually the first tips, because these are 50 tips in this book, is about your mindset. I believe that your mindset, and even going deeper, the way you think, the way you look to the world, determines when you really want to become successful or not. When you don't work on your mindset, you will stay where you are. You won't grow. So that is something I do. I work not that hard, but I work on myself. 80% of the time I work on myself. It was, I had a really good teacher, a mentor, Jim Rohns, I don't know whether you know him, and he said you have to work 80% on yourself and 20% on your business. Because when you work 80% on yourself, your business will fall in place. You can do it the way around, but then you do it the hard way. That's a way as well. And to be honest, I never understood it, because I was actually, yeah, I have to work hard, otherwise nothing will happen. But that's not true. Because when you really see your potential, when you really see what you can do as a human being, it's amazing. Maybe you only just touch the edge. Everyone here, it has nothing to do with intelligence or whatever. It's who you are as a human being. And that is the reason why you should be proud of yourself, isn't it? Because so many people don't find themselves worthwhile, or they say, who am I? What can I bring to the world? And things like that. You have to bring a lot of stuff to the world when you want to do it. Okay, so that is the reason, and that's the first chapter in this book as well, why I say, okay, you have to start with working on your mindset every day. And obviously, then it is good to go a level deeper. And do you know what is, or what's make your business successful? Any idea? You already told it, but maybe they didn't hear it. Who? Who said creativity? Creativity, yeah, but that's in yourself. That's actually true, but I'm looking for another word.
Team.
Sorry?
Team.
Team. Yeah, team, you need a team as well.
Attitude.
Sorry?
Attitude.
Attitude, absolutely. But that's all in your mindset, in yourself. Eh?
Positive thinking.
Positive thinking, yeah.
Idea.
Believing, absolutely. Idea, you need an idea, true. But now we get the point, so let's go further on that. Because I have an idea and you have the same idea, yeah? Let's take that as an example. So, why is it that you are really successful in this part and I'm not? Taking action, yes, but I take action as well. But I don't succeed and he does.
It's your confidence in yourself.
Obviously, because when you don't have all these skills, you won't succeed at all. I tell you what it is, it's your business model. Most entrepreneurs don't know even what a business model is. But when we look to companies like Facebook, Google, Amazon, do you know why they are so successful? Because they have a brilliant business model. Usually what entrepreneurs do, they look to their neighbor or to their competitor, and they say, okay, I take the same business model, and I do the same. But the point is, when you do that, you will become a little fish in a big pond. And then you speak about a competitor. I don't believe in a competitor, I believe in creation. Because you can always do something else. Now, to give you a little example, because one of my businesses is a business with Brioni where we actually teach entrepreneurs how to work on themselves, how to work on their business. Now, there are a lot of this kind of companies. You know, you can go everywhere where you want. We had Open Circles in that time. We had Half Acre. We have Tony Robbins. I know them all. But actually, they all have the same business model. The business model is quite easy. Bring people in a room. Give something away for free, just give them some motivation, and then sell your training. It works really good, to be honest. But when everyone is doing that, after a while, yeah, people don't want to go to workshops anymore, because they say, you know, and when they go to a training, what I saw is then after a while, they just went to the training and they didn't implement it. So they didn't get successful at all. Only maybe 1 or 2%. When you do something and I do it, and maybe together we can have a very strong business model. And that's actually what you should do as an entrepreneur. So to work on your business model makes that you really can do something which is unique. Your competitor is just because you have the same business model. But when you do it in another business model, you come up with another price or with another price model, or you put something on your product, whatever, so someone else can't do that, then you have a completely business model. And then you can make a lot of product. So hopefully you take some of my tips with you, work on your mindset, work on your business model, and I assure you everyone here can become really a successful entrepreneur, and you have to become a successful entrepreneur, not because of yourself, but because the world needs you. Thank you very much.
Dames en heren, bedankt allemaal. Ik denk niet dat ik iets hoef toe te voegen. Maar goed, motto zoals het zegt, together we are stronger. Dat had ik jaren geleden gedacht van nou, ik wil graag dat mensen samenkomen, ideeën delen, met elkaar samenwerken. Ja, we zijn geen concurrenten. We kunnen elkaar complementeren. Met heel veel dingen. En we hebben hier niet alleen maar van één sector. We hebben van verschillende sectoren, ondernemers. Dus ik zou zeggen, laten we samenwerken. Dank u wel, dank u wel.
चौदहवीं का चांद हो या आफताब हो, जो भी हो तुम खुदा की कसम लाजवाब हो। चौदहवीं का चांद हो। पे खेलती है तबस्सुम की बिजलियाँ, होठों पे खेलती है तबस्सुम की बिजलियाँ, सजदे तुम्हारी राह में करती है कहकशां। दुनियाए हुस्न इश्क का तुम भी शबाब हो। चौदहवीं का चांद हो या आफताब हो, जो भी हो तुम लाजवाब हो।